We are live, hopefully this time, with Nikki Watson of Design Quad. She wears many hats. The one that I'm going to tout for just a second is our esteemed Affiliate of the Year for 2022 for MetroTex. She is also our own little hometown star. She's on HGTV, and hopefully you guys have gotten to see her on some of her shows. And then it's no secret, you're also the staging queen, which is why we are here today to talk about all the fun things. But, you've got a phenomenal design trends class that is going on right now. You usually have a packed house, standing room only. So we're going to get into the details. Of course, this is just diving into the surface of what more people can love there. But Nikki, first things first, you are a great fan of MetroTex and our affiliate committee, our leadership program. So I kind of want to start in by talking about how people can get involved, because it wasn't that long ago that you were just starting to dip your toes in the waters, and MetroTex was where you started to really seek out your passion and make those relationships. So tell us, tell us a little bit about your journey thus far.
Yes. Okay. Well, hi everybody. I'm glad to be here. Metro Texas is my home, and I love everything about it. I was a member of. I am a member of Class 23, the Legacy, in the leadership program, and that's kind of where I got really involved in. Um, Being on committees and committing myself and try to figure out where I fit in and what my role would be as a leader in Metrotech. So I love the program, the leadership program, and I think Ashley will tell you more about that later. But when I went through the program, I was really shy. I think um, talking in front of people, something I hated to do. Public speaking was a part of that. I hated everything to do with it. And now I really don't mind. Like I'll get in, like you said, I have my classes and there usually a lot of people there, and I will just get up there and speak. But before leadership, that was not a thing. Like I did not like it. I would say my little piece and sit down. So I would give my little flooring presentation, and that was really it. But now I'm very comfortable, but it was because of the training and through leadership. So that
But
really
look,
helped me
and then
grow.
all I had to ask was, "Hey, would you
Yeah.
mind popping on?" Sure, tell me what we're talking about. I'll be there.
Right.
I mean, I think that's what's fantastic. A byproduct of it is doing the training, putting yourself out there, and realizing that you don't have to be a perfect public speaker if you bring the passion and you know what you're talking about. And I think
Mhm.
that's why people are always so energized to see you stand up and speak, because you are passionate about what you do. You're passionate about helping people. You're passionate about helping your clients and about staging and about all these things. I mean, you are constantly teaching yourself and growing. You started as a flooring salesperson. How long ago now?
In 2009 is when I started in the industry as a flooring sales rep, and I did that for 10 years.
So 2009, and here we are today. I can't believe it's 2023, but we're in 2023. You have, I think, the largest independent staging company in Texas. You are also in the state of Georgia now too. You're on HGTV. You are a builder. You are now a developer. You've got a new beautiful community that you're building. What is it? $500,000 to $1 million homes out in
Yeah.
Greenville, Texas.
Hmm.
So I think that's what's amazing is once you actually conquer something, you're like, where's the next journey? And I
Yeah.
think that's what's amazing, because when you stop learning, I mean, you really die. And so it's
Yeah.
constantly when you're trying to push yourself into something new. But you're definitely not one that just jumps into the deep end without bringing others along that know what they're doing. And I think that's what's amazing and inspiring to be around you, Nikki. So talking about that leadership class, though, we have a new recruiting event that is going to be coming February 6th, I believe, from 2 to 4 at our beautiful new building. So we're super excited. Our new headquarters, which is at 1701 Ken West Parkway in Irving. So if you haven't gotten to come yet, we would love to have you. If you're interested in learning more about the leadership program that Nikki and I both graduated from, I am actually your president-elect for the association and a member of Heavyweight 28, best class ever, of course. So we had a few years in between our journeys, but it's so amazing because I went in there, same kind of thing. I was on a couple of committees, but I wanted to see how I could get involved. And so for me, it was the same thing. Let's just see what this is all about. And halfway through the class, I caught the bug. I too was sitting there and saying, you know what, I can do this. It was a paradigm shift. It was so exciting. So before we even graduated, I had applied for the board, and then here we are, and both championing for our industry. And I think what that is so great, especially as the market continues to change. But that's why what you do is so important. So let's start talking about design trends.
Yes.
There's a lot of things going on here. We've seen some trends last for years upon years. And I think people are eager to hear, what can we expect? So the first thing is, though, what is definitely dead and gone, not being resurrected? What's a trend that people just went too far, and folks, it's not coming back?
So everybody is probably sick and tired of gray.
Yep.
Gray has been done. And if you deal with investors, you've seen every shade of gray from the lightest to the darkest. It is over. It is gone. We are going back to the taupes, to the grayish, what we call grayish beige, more beige than gray. And so we're leaving the steel grays alone. So these are going away. Now my bathroom is gray and it's not going anywhere anytime soon. But that is the trend that's going away. So gray is leaving us. And the painted, you remember the painted brick that was gray and you knew the investor was in the neighborhood? That is going away.
For any of our investors that might be on here or listening
Yes.
later, don't tip it off that it's actually a fix and flip. So don't
Yes.
paint that exterior gray. And
So
gray is not bad. There are so many different variations of gray. I have gray on my wall behind me, but
yeah.
there's gray throughout my house, but it's also coupled with, I've got in my kitchen, I've got warm bronze in my floors. They're a warm walnut. I still have really nice bold trim that's white, but it's
Mhm.
it's color. So we, like you said, your bathroom's not going anywhere. You're not spending that money redoing your bathroom, but we
No.
can do things to warm it up. And I think that's what you would agree is what people are pushing back on. We don't want cold and sterile. We
No.
want warmth and texture and some
Mhm.
earth tones to come back.
Right. Those colors
So
that we're used to, the accessible beige, the agreeable gray, those colors are coming back.
okay, I
Mhm.
like it.
Okay.
All right. What about all right, let's talk about exteriors for a second. I know you don't cover it a ton in your class, but you just
Mhm.
said it. You're
Yes.
tipping people off with that gray exterior brick.
Do it.
But I think we can see everywhere. We have seen this farmhouse trend for a few
Yes.
years. And I think we can thank Joanna Gaines for that one because she kind of started that
Absolutely.
trend.
Yep.
But what if you have a White House, Nikki?
Gosh. So this White House is here to stay. It's all over the country. This is the
Okay.
new fresh thing. So it did start in our homegirl in Waco, and she she made it popular all over the country. And I think that this is just a thing that's going to stay. We'll see that for 5, 10 years down the line. A lot of it came because of the shortage. So there was a brick shortage, and
Yep.
a lot of the builders were putting up just any color, and then they would just paint the house all one color, and then they had in the darker roof, so they had the white brick and the dark roof, and they were on trend and on time to deliver the house, but they didn't have to necessarily spend much money. It's actually they were upcharging for this, and they were actually spending less money.
Saving
So
money. Those sneaky builders.
mhm,
It's coming
mhm.
back to them now. So
Yes. So that was what they were trying to do for this trend, and it'll be around. So it I think that people are just they like the lightness of it. We see a lot of it in California. We see it,
yeah,
all over the country, Tennessee, Colorado. Everybody's doing this white and black. So it's just it'll be around for a while.
awesome. Okay. Whew. because I know a lot of people that have gone that direction, and that's a lot of money to sit there and change the exterior color of your home. So, what's a surprising trend though on the exteriors that you're starting to see? Maybe have a little reservation with, but is there some edgier plays at stake here?
Mhm. So something that I'm very surprised at is black houses. We're going to start seeing a lot of this, and you'll see black. It's not all black, so it'll have a little bit of cedar in there mixed in, and maybe maybe another color with it. But black houses is a huge deal, especially in like vacation areas. Broken Bow, you'll see a lot of black cabins. So black is a huge color right now, but we live in Texas. So we're not sure what this is going to look like with your electricity bill. We're going to see how hot people's houses are whenever they're when they're living in these black houses. But that is a surprising trend to me because it's so opposite from what we're seeing with the white and the black roof.
That's fantastic. Yeah, I don't know a lot of people that I would want to see do black and then have to retract that. But it is really pretty. Like you said, going into the mountains or in a vacation home, maybe that's where some of that daring attitude should stay. Investors, do not start painting all your houses black. We again will know what's going on, and you listen to Nikki's
Yes.
design trends class. So, but that's fun. We had Sherry had said, if you do white brick, you must do wonderful landscaping. I think that's something that's also really important, that no matter what the exterior color of your home is, if you really bring in fun landscaping, different types of textures in your landscaping, it can really warm up or change the exterior look of a home. So I
Absolutely.
think that's a good point.
Curb appeal is huge in any homes, in whatever color your house is. Curb appeal, it gets super hot here and things die in the summertime. But in other months, that is very important, especially if you're selling, to put some color out there and make it look good. So curb appeal is huge.
Curb appeal is huge, people. All
Yes.
right. You come from the flooring world. It's been a minute, but you guys still specialize in floors at the Design Quad. So what's the one thing that you always get asked about with floors?
Flooring is, I think, the number one thing that people change when they're going on the market. Of course, when you're selling your house, and if you've been there for a while, you may need to replace your carpet or something. Something needs to be replaced in your floors. So the number one question I get asked is luxury vinyl plank. Is luxury vinyl plank cheap? Is it considered cheap? Or what price point should you consider not putting in luxury vinyl plank and putting in either or a hand scrape or a nail down hardwood floor or a engineered floor? So I get this question a lot, and I kind of want to see what people out there do we know who's watching? If there's people out there that have a question about what their price point would be.
You know what? That's good. Let's not go into it. Let's have
Yeah.
people chime in the chat. We've got 20 people watching live right now.
Oh, good.
So would love to see your comments. Look, you have not been in the real estate industry the last 5 years and not seen some variation of luxury vinyl plank. Again, we're going to pick on the investors. They tend to do the really clickety clackety cheap kind that's got every variation of gray looking into it. But there's so many different products. So I would too be interested. So we'll circle back to the luxury vinyl plank. I will tell you a big pet peeve of mine though is if you have one type of wood looking flooring type, I hate it when you put a secondary product that touches it. That's just a no-no regardless of how expensive the product is. Don't you agree?
Don't do it. So I have seen I've seen people try to do like match luxury vinyl plank in all the main areas and then do like a ceramic wood look in a bathroom.
No.
Don't do that. Because it's never going to match. It's not going to look good. It's just not. It's not going to look good. Well. It's not going to read well to the buyers either. So they're going to walk through and be confused. So
I think, and that's the thing that people don't think about. They'll sit there, and when I have clients, especially like maybe they just want some information, but they'll sit there and they'll go, "Do you think it's great if I do this wood tile plank in the bathroom?" And I'm like, "Hey, that's fantastic. But do you plan on leaving carpet in your room? No, actually, I think I want to put luxury vinyl plank or pull wood into the bedroom. And that's the problem. You really have to think a couple of steps ahead as to
Mm-hmm.
what you're going to do. But if you like tile's fine. I'm looking at mine right now. I've got the more rectangular shaped tile, but it's much wider. So it doesn't look like wood. It's stacked differently. And I've got,
Mm-hmm.
nailed down hardwoods that run the same direction into it, but they're thin planks and they
Right.
look very, very different.
So
So we
it doesn't
do
look like you're trying to match it. It doesn't look like you're
no,
trying to go to, okay, yes. So
no,
that's
not
what
at
you do.
all.
You make it look different and then it's fine.
Absolutely. So Adrian Kirby said she has luxury vinyl plank and loves it. It is very rare that anyone can tell it's not hardwood. So that means,
Exactly.
Adrian, you do have a really nice product because some of those, like I said, the
Mhm.
investors picking on them, clickety clack. You definitely want to make sure. I mean, I sit there and I'll knock it, even in the showroom, seeing how much time, if it reverberates or does something else.
Mhm.
Braylon Ladson said, Amen. I hate that too. He was talking about having two different wood type
Match it.
products. Yeah,
Mhm.
matching together. All right, Adam. Adam says, I'm going to say 500,000 and up would be the cutoff for LVP. I would expect real wood over that.
I
Nikki,
love
you
that
agree?
answer, Adam. I love that. I love that. Okay, so let's keep going on that. 500 is a
Okay.
great number.
Okay.
500,
Well,
that's
is
a good
it really a
start.
great number anymore? Because it has changed. 500
500
has
is your new
changed.
600 or
There you go.
650.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Oh, Pam Varnell says, I have glued down LVP and I love it. Whole house. Hate the floating type. Never been on one that is not clickety clack. Yes, that is the term, by the way.
Mhm.
As for price point, anything under 500 after that, you do need to get real wood, no engineered.
Another
See,
500.
I
Okay.
know. So I
Another
think it's
500.
interesting. Everybody, oh, and then here's my mother. And I can attest that it was awful trying to think 5 steps ahead in her own house when we were doing her bathroom remodel. She has bamboo looking LVP and it
Okay.
is super squishy. It actually feels like there's actually some I don't even know depth to it or anything
Yeah.
else. She put it in her master bath and absolutely loves it.
Yeah.
And she believes that the number is closer to 1 million.
See, that's a big gap.
Yep.
500 to a million. I like that there is some variation in this. This is a good conversation now.
But I think the big thing is that it's not just about the floors. It's
Right.
about the floors and the staircase and
Yeah.
the moldings and everything else that you're bringing in. And so I think you see how much variation, which is great. So
Yeah.
realtors, when you're giving advice, think about how many different comments we just had about LVP alone. So there
Yeah.
isn't ever just a direct right answer. I think every house is going to bear differently. So that's great. And then Adam said, depends on the neighborhood. That's it too. I mean, everything is dependent on different external factors. So
'Cause you're
we might
not
just need
going
an
to put this in Highland Park,
no,
and you're not going to put this house on the market if it's a multi-million dollar property. You're not putting
no,
vinyl in there.
no.
That's a no. That's
But what
a
I have
definite.
figured out is we probably need an LVP helpline just for these questions alone, so people
Yes.
can chat in or do something else, and we'll help where we can. Um, okay, floor plans. Okay,
Yes.
we're seeing a lot of different things going on right now.
Mhm.
What's the floor plan trend that is finally starting to make its way out the door?
So again, with these investors, and I hate to talk about you guys, but
But
this
we're
is
here to
my
help you too.
this is my experience. When I start selling floors, my very first customer was at the courthouse steps on Tuesday, and I went to go find the investors because I didn't know who else bought floors. So
Okay.
that's who I started selling to was investors. So I know I'm very well versed in the investor client. So and we've seen lots of in staging and flooring. We see a lot of walls come down, and what we call the bowling alley effect. They take all the walls down. You don't know where to put the TV. It's just
Yep.
open floor plan. So now the trend that's going on is we're putting walls back up. The open floor plan concept is not completely going away, but people are starting to want walls. They're wanting to do some sort of division. So in the design trends class, we talk about room dividers. Room dividers are coming back. The not the ones that used to be like an accordion that you move from room to room,
Not like
but
at a church hall where you sit there and you make the class. Yes, yeah, I got you.
but the
Yeah.
actual stationary kind, you can get them done with glass or wood. And I mean, there are just so many different kinds that are out there now. But people do want some division. And I think a lot of it came from COVID because we're all home at the
Yeah.
in the same area at the same time. And we want some sort of separation. So there are walls going back up now. So the open concept is not going away, but you will see a different kind of open floor plan concept. We'll have a little bit of division, some walls going up. I always talk about kitchen. So you don't always want somebody watching you cook while they're watching TV.
Mhm.
So, or the kids are doing something over there, and you kind of want your own space. So this is a trend I felt coming a long time ago
Oh
because
yeah.
seen so many open concept, and I'm like, this is too open. People are going to get tired of this. So it's starting to go away.
Well, and look, DFW is a mixing pot too, you know,
Yes.
and so we have a lot of cultural integration and different things going on there. And cooking is a big deal. And I know that was something that was very important, especially when you're talking about a lot of open flame cooking and things like that. They do want that space closed and closed off. And so I think that from a resale perspective and from an enjoyment perspective, don't just go knocking down walls. Plus, it's expensive, especially when they're load bearing. So,
Yes.
so it's exciting to hear that we are seeing some segmentation come back in.
Right.
So, oh, here's my mother again. She always has the best isms. A fence makes the best neighbors, and walls make the best marriages. Separate living rooms and more of a closed off kitchen. Yes.
Yes.
So that's super important.
I
So
love that.
we'll have to remember that. Okay, let's think of something else because I loved the interaction that we had from the LVP. Let's talk
Yes.
about, we've already talked about the fact that Gray's dead and gone. It's not
Mhm.
being resurrected. Um,
Crazy.
okay, let's talk about something else though that was a huge trend. And I'm hoping that we can still see variations of it. But what about white kitchens?
White kitchens. White kitchens are everybody wants to see a white kitchen, especially millennials. So if you're showing a buyer, don't take them anywhere but to a white kitchen. That's what they want to see. I've given this class, this design trends class across the country, and every young person in the class, they're like, "Yeah, that's the kitchen I want to see." So they want to see all white. To them it reads clean, fresh, and there's no upgrades. So white kitchens is definitely the thing. It's not going anywhere, especially for young buyers. But to live, so that's for selling. But for to live, squeaky clean kitchens are going away. We don't want to live all modern, and we don't want to live where everything's just put away. We want to see appliances. We want to see some color. We want to paint our island. These are things that are happening right now in living. People don't want to just see the squeaky clean kitchen anymore. So that trend is definitely going away for living. And I think it's good because we have seen this white kitchen is too sterile. I feel like I have a white kitchen. I can't wait to paint this, paint my island, or paint. I think I want to just paint my whole kitchen black. I think that's my black kitchens is a huge thing too. You'll see a lot more of that. The builders are
Okay.
starting to do it. So black kitchens are the trend, a hot trend right now.
Okay, well, you hear that? All of our Italian chefs out there, black
Yeah.
kitchens are on
Black
trend, so
kitchen.
you no longer have to be terrified to cook your homemade pasta sauce on the
Right.
stovetop. I mean, that's the biggest thing. I'm looking at again mine right now. I've got an off-white, but I've got black countertops, and so that's the other thing too. The black countertops and the darker appliances tend to still kind of bring that like you said squeaky clean look down, but it's the
Yes.
grout too. So
Yeah.
it's those grout lines and everything else, and that's just not practical. Okay, something just popped into my head though. Speaking of grout lines, Okay.
Mhm.
And this doesn't necessarily have to be a design trend. We can pick on investors again if we want to. Again, you work with investors, I work with a ton of investors, but you got to be critical because they want to make the most return on their investment. Then we've got to get them some tips and tricks.
That's true.
What about dark grout lines with really light colored tile? What is your thoughts on that?
I do not like it because I think it looks dirty. For me,
Okay.
that's not a trend that I would go if I was doing a remodel, if I was doing a design, I wouldn't do that. But
Okay.
it is popular. People are doing that. It looks to me, it looks dirty. But
Okay.
if you're doing a darker, say you were doing a black grout or black
Yes.
tile, yeah, doing a darker grout is fine because then it'll kind of fade away. It'll look
Sure.
good. But I think doing the lighter color and the darker color grout, I just think that to me it looks messy. But that's just my opinion. That's not the professional thing. But there are lots of people that are doing that now.
Well, the other thing too is there is very little margin for error, and a lighter color grout is definitely much more forgiving. So, from a resale side, if somebody is going to be, retiling a backsplash or a tub surround or something else, I would definitely, just as a realtor in the marketplace, I would definitely steer away from that because if your tile person isn't precise with those lines, like you said, not only does it look dirty, but you can see it becomes the squiggle effect. So think twice before doing dark grout, guys.
And subway
Um,
tile is always going to be around. I think subway tile is just
okay.
the classic thing to do. It's like brick; it's going nowhere. So subway tile, they're doing some cool things with it. Laying it on a vertical looks
Uh-huh.
so good. Those are just some things that backsplashes, even bathrooms. Their subway tile's not going anywhere. That's forever.
That's fantastic because there's a lot of subway tile out there.
They
It's
a lot.
going, you
And
got a
there's
lot of
I like
subway
the
tile.
colors. They're doing a lot of colors. It's cool navy blues, emerald greens. Like it's some really cool subway tile out there right now.
I love that. So that reminds me because navy and emerald green and some of these other pops of colors, it sounds like jewel tones are definitely something that is, very popular. I see a lot of color behind you right now as far as that goes. So let's talk about color. Okay.
Color.
What are we thinking? Are we still doing the monochromatic effect? Should we be a little bit more daring? Where are we going? Speak to us.
So in the interior design world, yes, everything is kind of blending in. Like they're doing a lot of whites on white, so and then mixing in some like terracotta colors. So there, everything is kind of going towards the sandies and the greens, those kind of things. But what is going away is the color coordinated decor. So if you have, and which this is hurting my heart right now because my whole house is decorated like in two colors. So this my style is kind of going away, but you can mix things up. So the style that's coming in is more chic, it's more shabby, it's more eclectic, so you can put more things together and it's not as matchy matchy. I like matchy matchy, but that's just going away. So I'm gonna have to change some things up in my house soon, but
Okay.
that is going away. So matching decor, color coordinated decor is going away, and it's getting more just eclectic now.
No, I love that. And I mean, I always love going to Pottery Barn because
Yes,
yes. And I think that's a great representation right now if you're
yes,
wanting to figure out how to bring in tons of colors and textures and what that looks like. Because I'm with you. I mean, it's like I don't know how to put the pink with that sage and all of these other
yeah.
things, but you're seeing that. And so go to Pottery Barn and just sit there for a little while and you'll see how all of these different, I think, like the desert, that more of that desert Mojave trend into
Yeah.
this earthy, more rustic, which is
Mhm.
fun because you don't have to have this one uniform, either sterile or farmhouse look or anything else. It sounds like, we've got a lot more things that we can do and we can have fun with it, which I think
Yeah.
is fantastic.
It's very soothing. I think it's a soothing palette right now. It's just not as what we are used to. Everything's kind of everything goes together. You can kind of mix things up, which I think is
Yeah.
fun if you have things that you're bringing in from especially different households. Say you're
Yep.
mixing in, so you just got married and you're gonna mix your households together. I think that this is it's a good time to be doing design.
Did you ever see that show? And I think it was on Lifetime. It was either Lifetime or TLC. And Lisa Rinna, I think, was actually the host. And it was two couples getting married, and they were fighting over all of their stuff. There were non-negotiables in each house, putting them together. And so they went on their honeymoon, and the designer would come in and merge all their stuff together. I mean, that must have been 15, 20 years ago, but it
Oh my
was
God.
so fun because you saw a lot of that. They would bring in textures or textiles that had a lot more
Mhm.
of the color and then blend different woods and different styles. So it's just like we're kind of getting back to that stuff, but that was a really fun show.
That's a good show.
Um,
There
yes.
is a style that's out there right now that I want everybody to look up after we get off of here. It's called granny chic. Granny chic. These millennials are going to like antique stores, thrift stores, and they are buying the oldest stuff they can find and they're mixing it in with new furniture pieces. You have to look it up. You're going to be amazed at what it looks like. It is the funniest thing ever, but it is a growing trend, and you will see a lot of this coming up. It is
Okay.
something.
You heard it here, folks. Granny chic. So we
Granny chic.
will we'll definitely have to take a look at that because I think we need a visual on that one.
Yes.
Okay, we do have a question. Adam says, "What about stainless appliances? I know
Mm.
colored appliances are trendy. Is stainless timeless and here to stay?"
Yes, stainless is going nowhere. It is absolutely the most popular thing. Now, colored appliances are huge in the luxury realm. So they're doing a lot of white with glass front. So I couldn't live like this because my refrigerator, you don't want to look at my refrigerator right now. So white appliances with open front. I mean, your everything looks beautiful. All their fruit and everything is just all colorful and pretty. You want to bite it through the glass, but that's not how I live. But that is the trend that's going on in the luxury world. But stainless for us normal people, that is always going to be around, and it's not going anywhere. Stainless steel appliances are just going to be here. They're just classic.
And by us normal people, she means the
No.
ones that can't afford to replace our appliances every 3 years or 2 years. So yes, no, absolutely. But a pet peeve of mine, I don't know if it is yours, Nikki. Make sure it's the right stainless though. Don't make sure your microwave and your stove and your fridge. Oh, look at that. Is that granny chic?
That's
Is that what
that's
we're
yeah.
doing?
That's a little
Or
bit of
no?
granny. Oh,
Okay,
that's
we've got a retro fridge. And we've
I
got white
like that bridge.
appliances. Okay. All right. I mean, it's nice. I might be able to get, thank you. We have a great producer in the background that's keeping us on our toes. Um, Johnny Moad says, laugh out loud, had to look it up. Granny Chic weaves together traditional elements and modern designs to create an eclectic look that still feels homey and approachable. It is the modern revival of traditionalist design in a way that has elegance, but with a bolder, quirkier twist. Johnny, thank you for the exact definition. We can always rely on you. That sounds very fancy, actually, Nikki.
You have to see pictures of it. It is the funniest thing that you've ever seen. It is, but it is it's growing in popularity. This is a new trend. And I had to figure out what it was because I heard the term I was at the market and they were talking about all this stuff. And sometimes I pay attention, sometimes I don't. And I
Yeah.
heard this term and I'm thinking, what in the world are they talking about? And I looked it up and I was shocked.
Have you staged? Have you tried it? Tried your own hand at doing a granny chic home?
Absolutely
Not
not.
yet.
I probably won't because buyers will maybe be turned off by this because
Okay.
it's probably very taste specific. We use
Yeah.
transitional because it's very vanilla. We call it real estate vanilla.
Yeah.
But Granny Chic is not vanilla at all. There's nothing vanilla about Granny Chic. It's a lot of wallpaper involved, a lot of flowers,
Yeah.
a lot of it gets
You
kind of
know
crazy.
what? It could be fun in an Airbnb in
Oh,
certain
it'd be
areas, though.
perfect. It'd be
Yes.
perfect. Yes.
Okay. So for
Yeah.
our Airbnb people out there, maybe this is your opportunity to get those
Yes.
millennials to pay that nice little price tag by calling it
Hmm.
granny chic.
Granny
So,
sheet. Yeah.
okay, Johnny wants to know something else. He said, what tips and tricks do you have for clients who want a super luxury look but are on a tight budget? You know, champagne wishes, but beer budget.
I think black interior doors are the big thing, and paint is cheap. Paint is everybody knows paint's cheap. So if you're just doing some upgrades in a house, you're painting kitchen cabinets, painting vanities, those kind of things. That's going to be the cheap way to go. Put some
Okay.
hardware on there that's going to elevate the look. Gold is always going to be around. It's here to stay. It's probably the thing that's on the most back order because it's so popular. Um, Gold fixtures, gold sink fixtures, gold hardware, all that stuff is here to stay. So if you just say, okay, what's the cheap way to upgrade this kitchen? Paint the cabinets, throw some gold hardware, maybe some gold lighting. That's going to give it a whole new look. That's a really good way to inexpensively upgrade something. But I'm seeing a lot of black interior doors, and the black interior doors, they look so rich and they just
Hmm.
stand out. We're used to white doors. White doors are not a big thing, but navy or black
Hmm.
doing interior doors, they just elevate the look. And I think that's a way just to do something unexpected in an upgrade. And it's
No, I think you're right. There is a house that I sold to such a fun, funky couple, and it was a few years ago in Plano. And we walked in, and they had navy doors and trim, and we were like, "This is so different," and it was so fresh and just quirky, like their personalities. And then there was even this bright orange mantle. And the people that lived there were actually from Austin. They even hung their artwork, and they had still had the paneling, but they had painted it, but they hung the artwork on top of the actual picture frame paneling. So it wasn't inset,
mhm,
it was on the outside. And it was just so neat. I think until you see somebody else do it, there's a lot of
mhm.
hesitation, but it does work.
It
And
does work. Even dark
yes.
gray. Like when you're doing doors, you can do like a dark gray, a dark anything like a dark rich color.
Okay.
It just makes the doors look amazing.
Okay. I like that. What about, let's see. What about something else? What's something that's asked about a lot in your design trends class? Let's think. Maybe what about just paint colors in general?
Oh, well, talking about the paint colors, we're going back to the ones that we're used to. I think that people are kind of afraid of, if their whole house is gray, they're like, okay, now I'm scared. What do I do? And just the colors that we're used to, accessible beige, agreeable gray, those colors, repros gray, those are the ones that they had a little tint of gray, but they're more beige. And those are
Yeah.
the ones that we're going back to. So those are the colors that we're used to. Now, in the luxury world, white.
Yeah.
They don't want to see color. Alabaster is the most popular color. Sherwin Williams alabaster is the most popular color for white walls. But anything that you would consider luxury, you want to do white walls. You don't want to do any kind of color. You don't want to do gray or beige. You want to do white.
Okay. That's a good thing there. And I think it's really important to note on those colors because again, that sterile blue gray is a lot what we're talking about.
Yeah.
But grays have so many different undertones. And I know I have like 13 different samples of all those gray paints that you're talking about because depending on if there's natural light or a lot of recessed lighting or where
Yes.
they're located in the house, because we recently painted agreeable gray. It was actually my mom's. We had always done that. It was like agreeable gray will be great, but not realizing that every one had paneling and tons of open light. The next one had no light at all, and it turned blue and
Oh
have
wow.
that, which I've never seen done with agreeable gray.
Yeah.
So we literally sat there and I got 13 different swatches and looking at the different rooms. And so that's just my tips and trick there. Don't think just because one color looks beautiful on the swatch or in a room, you definitely need to be trying out those different grays
Mhm.
and see what the rest of it pulls from there.
Yeah.
So no,
Lighting
that's
is important. And getting ready to sell, I think that people should be mindful of rooms. So we'll talk about like the garage. We That's real estate.
Yeah.
All No matter what how you look at it, the garage is real estate. So you don't want to shove boxes in there. I know you tell them pare down and get ready for your next house and all that, but you don't want to put everything in the garage because people want to see the garage. They want to see where they want to park. They want to see if there's a guy that has a workstation. He wants to see where he'll have all his tools. So these are the things
Yeah.
that you want to make sure that you're not clouding that area because people want to see the garage, and it is pure real estate.
Okay, well, going on to the garage, Johnny had another question. Epoxy flooring ever come up? It's the great debate amongst my car enthusiast friends. Garages need loving too, they say.
They do. Garages are important. I'm glad that people are actually realizing this. And I used to think whenever I sold floors, I was like, "Oh, don't worry about the garage." And then someone would ask me, "Hey, do you know somebody that does garage floors?" I'm like, "Oh, this is a real thing." So epoxy flooring. It's popular and it's getting less expensive. So now
Yeah.
it used to be years ago, it used to be kind of pricey, but now you can get it done for a really good price. So epoxy flooring is, if you have an opportunity to do that in a garage, please do it because it will wow the buyers and they'll come in and be ready to buy it. So
Well, I will tell you right now, I had a client who converted, they went in and painted the garage stark white, put in tons of fluorescent lighting, and then did this white diamond epoxy
oh
flooring. And you
wow.
just walk in and it looks like a luxury car showroom.
For
And it's
sure.
absolutely beautiful. So, I mean, that's another way where if the rest of your house is looking really good, spend a little time doing some loving on, not making loving, doing some loving on your garage and doing some of
Right.
those other tricks. And
Because it does
amazing,
deserve it. Yeah.
it does deserve it at all.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, oh yeah. And Johnny just said, what color? Asking for a friend. I think that's
Yeah.
just dependent on what the rest of the garage looks like, the color of the epoxy.
Yeah, I think that if it's a white walls up there, something light. You don't want to do too dark. If there's a darker walls, like if it's painted gray or something like that, maybe something with a little grayish tint in it. But they have some really cool colors.
Yeah.
But I'd say maybe medium whitish, and then maybe put a little bit of gray in there, just because it's gonna get messed up. You're gonna draw on it, so
Sure.
that there it's not going to be perfect always, but something with a little bit of color so it doesn't freak people out.
Yeah.
But if they have nice cars, that's going to be a seller. Like that's going to be a
Yeah.
home run.
Absolutely. Well, it goes back to the LVP debate of price points. Certain
Mhm.
price points, you definitely, like you said before, closets are important, storage is important, garage is super important, and so be considerate as realtors in the space. When we're looking at different price points, those additional rooms that we kind of think of, those ancillary spaces that we don't give a lot of attention to, are extraordinarily important. Okay, we do have a couple more questions about wall colors. So, what about ceilings painted the same color as walls, if not white, of course? So, what's your take on that?
I like, I do like to, if it's, say, you're just doing like a new build and they're doing a beige or a grayish on the walls, they're most likely going to paint the ceiling. So the
Yeah,
trim is going to give some contrast to it. So I think that's fine if they paint the ceiling. You just don't want a really dark color on the
sure.
ceiling because it'll bring it in and make it kind of feel like a cave or a cavern. So you want to make sure that it's not a too dark of a color, or if not, if it is a dark color on the walls, just do white on the ceiling so
Okay.
it doesn't come in on you. So that's important to be looking at what color they're doing on the walls.
Okay. All right. And Pam asked, accent walls with or without trim design. And I'm assuming she's meaning like that kind of the texture trim that you can kind of put on that. So, what are your thoughts on that?
I love that. So they call it a couple different things. So modern wainscoting is one way to call it. The other
Okay.
the other name for it is board and batten. I love it. That is definitely our new accent wall. We used to do just paint one color, and that was our the accent. You see it in a dining room or in an
Yeah.
office or something. But now that trim is just super popular. You're seeing it in bedrooms where the bed goes on the main wall.
Yeah.
So you're starting to see more and more of this. It is incredibly popular. It's not going anywhere, and because there's so many ways that you can do it, and it's basically it reminds me of paneling, like the old school
Yeah.
paneling or chair mold, like we used to have. So I think that it's going to be around for a while. So that is a yes, Pam. Yes,
Okay.
a
Yes,
yes.
on to would you call it board and batten or
Board game
modern
or modern
wainscoting?
wainscoting. Mhm.
Okay, I'm gonna go with modern wainscoting because I can remember that and it's not a tongue twister. So that's what we're gonna go with from now on. Okay, something else that I know you like and I like too, wallpaper. Okay, so wallpaper's
Wallpaper.
still a thing, right? It's coming back in.
Wallpaper is back with a
Okay.
vengeance. It's back. So the cool thing about the new technology, just like in LVP, it has come a long way. So wallpaper
Yeah.
used to be, kind of expensive to put up. You had to put this heavy glue on it to take it down was a nightmare. So all of that is kind of going away. So they have some really cool peel and stick wallpapers, and they're just
Okay.
like a sticker. You can put it up if you don't like it, you can take it down. If you're in an apartment or a rental, you can put it up and take it down when you leave. So and they've got lots and lots and lots of options in this stuff. So wallpaper is back. It's not like your grandma's wallpaper. It is different and it's better. And everybody's doing it. I've seen it on ceilings. People are doing a lot of wallpaper on ceilings, which I think is
Very cool.
cool.
Yeah.
It is really it's come a long way. So wallpaper is definitely back. Small bathrooms. We're used to seeing it in powder rooms and
Yeah.
small areas, but now people are putting it in large areas. It is definitely a thing. So
I
you'll
think
see
it's super
more.
fun. Our,
Mhm.
our mutual friend Matt Bird with Farmers Insurance, he's a good friend of both of ours. He
Yes.
actually did this graffiti wallpaper in his powder bath, and it looks so
Mhm.
neat. He actually just changed his color cover photo on Facebook. So if anybody wants to see what that looks like, go on Bird's and BYRD. Go on his
Mhm.
Facebook profile and you can see it. But I just thought that was so neat and daring. I had never seen, it just take a complete, the old floral or the fruit patterns. I mean, those
Yes.
are always
Yeah, we're not talking
gorgeous.
about grandma's chickens and
Yes.
vines and grapes and wine and that kind of thing. We're talking about
Oh,
real cool things.
unless we're doing granny chic and maybe
Yes,
grandma's chickens could be, it could be integrated
it
again.
is
We'll see.
very interesting.
Yes. No, I like it. I'm here for it. Whatever the younger generation wants to put in. I know I'm kind of on that heel, but I'm just in a different place of my life that I just don't know that I can do granny chic. So we've had so much fun and we've got a little over 10 minutes left. So we definitely want to open it up to more questions. So if you guys have something random that we haven't discussed tonight, even if it's not the professional opinion, I know Nikki or myself probably will have a personal opinion on something.
Right?
But one thing you touched on before, open shelving. We've seen
Yes.
so much open shelving. What do we think? Is it still good? Yay, nay?
Open shelving. So I'll tell you where it started. So it was a money saver for builders. Builders were saving money. They didn't have to buy a
Okay.
cabinet and they put up open shelving. It's a really cool concept and it looks amazing. But when people started moving into these houses with open shelving, they realized they have to dust it. Everything that goes up there has to be beautiful and pretty, and it can't be sippy cups and those kind of things. It just has to be gorgeous all the time. Well,
Yeah.
that's not real life. So that open shelving is being closed up. We are going back to an actual cabinet, and you won't see as much of that. You'll probably see a few of them in like a small area where people have now these coffee stations, and so
Sure.
they'll probably do something like that, but not all across the kitchen. So I've seen like nothing but open shelving.
Yeah.
Now in the Airbnb space, it's still a thing because they don't necessarily have to keep everything neat and nice.
Sure.
They can just put all the plates out and they can put all the cups out and put everything on display, so it's not hard for people to reach. And that you will probably see that trend going into the Airbnb space and not
Okay.
in the living space.
No, I
So,
love that. And I think it's still appropriate, like you said, in a coffee bar area or maybe in
mhm,
an actual bar area where people want to display certain things.
right.
But I think the better fit is to also do a glass cabinet or something else so you're not having to dust every single item that is sitting on the shelf.
Coming.
Okay, Adam's got another question for us. Carpet, still acceptable in bedrooms, media room, any other areas?
Yes, carpet. So I am a carpet in bedroom person. Like I got to get
Okay.
up in the morning and feel carpet. I am not I'll just get a rug and put it over my hardwoods. But there's lots of people like that. They like hardwoods everywhere and they don't want carpet anywhere. And it's got to do with allergies and that kind of thing. But for me, I love carpet, and we're still installing a lot of carpet in houses. So carpet is still a thing in bedrooms, media rooms, always a cool pattern. I see people doing patterns on their stairs. So carpet is still acceptable, and we sell a lot of carpet. So carpet is a thing, and I don't think it's going anywhere, especially in bedrooms, because I just like it in bedrooms. It just feels so cozy.
No, I would agree with that. And I would say, most of the time, especially with children, you
Yes.
don't want those hard surfaces, even though they might be easier to clean.
Yeah.
They're sitting on the floor, they're doing all those other things, and carpet is preferable.
Mhm.
Now, I am a sucker for that low pile patterned carpet that has
Yes.
just a little bit of texture into it versus, like a frise or something else like that. Are you seeing kind of people trending more towards that style a little
Yes,
bit?
that's the most
Okay.
popular thing, and I think it'll all go towards that. I think for Zay, just because it's a little bit less expensive, they'll still sell some, but they're going more towards what they call it. It's a pattern. It's almost called a Berber. So that the one that you're
Yeah.
talking about, the textured
Yeah.
Berber, which Berber sounds so old school, but
I
that's
know.
just the name. It's a low cut,
Again, go into the granny chic. Go for your Berber in your granny chic living
right?
space.
It
Do
sounds so
you?
old school, but that's what
Yes,
it's.
no, it does. Okay, Johnny's got a random question. How
Yes.
do you hide or incorporate in-home security systems into the design of the home? If you have cameras or security detection systems, how do you make them less of an eyesore?
So I know a lot of homes are doing integrating smart home systems. So cameras on the outside, I think you're just gonna be able to see them. Like you'll be able
Yeah,
to see all that. But on the inside, I've seen a lot of people actually put them inside the wall, so they're just like a plate over it, and you're not really able to see it. Maybe you wave your hand, and then you can punch in your numbers and things. But
sure,
there's the security companies are coming up with more cosmetically pleasing systems
sure.
that are out there now. And then your security cameras being hooked up to like your TV, any TV, and you just kind of watch it from there. So you're not really having to have a whole system where you got a closet where you got all these screens going on. You can kind of do your security system on your phone, either on your phone or on your TV system. So you don't really have to have everything out on display. So they're starting to do a lot more. I know ADT has a really cool program where they have, it almost looks like a part of your house. It's a smart home system, so it looks like a part of your house, and so it's not sticking out and making it obvious that it's the security system.
Now, if ADT will stop stalking every realtor in the Metroplex after they
Oh
close a home, they
yeah,
might get more business with their aesthetically appealing security system. Just a
right.
tip or trick to the rest of you salespeople
Yes.
out there. Yes, Johnny said, Nikki, you need to do a secure class on security trends, interior design, etc. aspect. Yeah, he's absolutely right. I mean, that's something that's very cool, and you can integrate into that.
Yeah.
Um, Okay, a few more things. There's things that I need to pick your brain about. Okay,
Okay.
barn doors.
Barn doors. So two things about barn doors. Barn doors with the X on them, like the old school barn door, they're
Yeah,
out. That's out.
Okay.
Like you
Okay.
don't want to look like you're going into Mr. Ed's
No.
territory when you
Yeah.
are
Got
going
it.
home. So that is out.
Okay.
But the
Cool.
track system that the barn
Yeah.
doors are on, that is still acceptable. But putting doors that are kind of a little bit more modern, they don't necessarily have all the detail on them. That is still a thing. But the actual X on the doors that look like an actual barn, those are gone.
Bye bye.
Those are
Yeah.
gone.
No. And you know what? I'm a sucker for a pocket door. And if
Yes.
your builder didn't put in a pocket door, those are my favorite. But
I
I
love
feel
them.
like this is like the cheaper version of a pocket door because
Yes.
it's all about that track system still gives you that real estate without swinging into a room because I
Yes.
can't stand losing an entire wall because a
Mhm.
door swings open into it. So I
Yes.
I do like the track systems, but there's so many different things that they're doing now.
Mhm.
The glass
Mhm.
collapsible doors with the
Oh,
iron
yeah.
around it is absolutely
Mhm.
stunning. So,
Yes.
okay, at least
I
we agree
love
on
that.
that
And
track system is
I'm gonna
yeah.
have to take you guys. I'm gonna have to show y'all one trend that I really like, and it's in my house. So I might have to take y'all to my kitchen. So we're
Okay,
gonna go on a field trip.
okay,
If you
go on
have
the
any
field trip.
questions, I can answer those while we're moving.
Okay, okay, so while we're doing the field trip, Adam wants to know solid clear glass and metal front doors, trendy or here to stay?
Here to stay. I think
Okay,
that, and y'all see my I think Johnny asked that question about ceiling. My ceiling is navy blue, but it
love it.
has the trim in there, and it's not like
Yeah,
all just one color. So,
no,
um,
that's beautiful.
they're here to stay. So my front door is my front door is glass, and I think they're just trendy. They just look good, and people are. Um, uh, they're always going to do some sort of a stylish door, and that's just kind of what people are doing now. Let me see.
Well, and I think the natural light aspect, when you have the actual glass in the front door, it's still letting the natural light in. Are we there? Are we
Yeah,
in the kitchen?
we are
Okay.
here. We're in the kitchen. Stainless steel, Adam. Stainless steel is happening. It's going. It's going to be here. So the thing that I like about my house, and this is something that's in our design trends class, is this is my pantry. Don't judge me on my food choices, please, everyone. Please
That's another show, Nikki. That's another show.
please don't judge me on the things that we eat in my house. So this is what I think all builders should be doing right now, and this is the
Okay.
coolest thing. So
Okay.
it is
Let's see.
called the Costco door.
What?
So the other side of this door is the garage. There's a car right there. See? And so if you back up here and you can put your groceries right into the pantry, and you don't have to walk all the way around with your food. So everybody
Uh,
should have a Costco door.
and look, Costco could even like copyright it, and so they could
Yes.
make money off it and sell it to builders. That that is fantastic. I
I
don't know that I've ever seen that before.
It is the coolest thing, and this is the thing that I was like, this is my house. So that is one of the new trends, and a lot of builders are now doing that where they're putting the kitchen or putting the garage kind of next to the kitchen so they can do
Yeah,
one of those doors. So that is
awesome.
a huge
Christine
trend.
Burke. Christine Burke, my fellow heavyweight 28 alumni sister, she said that is the most amazing feature. Yes, it absolutely is. But
I
that just
love it.
shows you a detail just like that. You didn't show us your marble bathroom or anything else. It was that type of intentionality that
Um,
sold you, and that's super important.
a little bitty door like that is just it was just the coolest thing to me, and I thought, how smart was this when they thought about when you're coming home, you don't have to carry your stuff, because that was my biggest pet peeve about houses in general, like,
Yeah,
oh, I gotta carry all this stuff into the
yeah,
house. But now, I mean, I just unload straight from the car, and it's just already in there.
that was
Water,
fantastic.
that's the
Yeah,
thing. The waters are so heavy. You're like, oh, let's
yeah.
shove this water around here. So that is, I think, the coolest thing ever.
Well, you know what's the coolest thing is that we got to see the Costco door. And you took us on our first field trip ever on Real Talk, and we've been doing this for over 2 years. That is the first
Oh
field
my
trip.
gosh.
I feel so special. So, okay, so there's a lot more that we could go over, but we are out of time. And I think what is amazing is that Nikki is constantly doing her design trends classes. You know, follow her on the different social media channels and you can see the updated list of classes. But I wanted to give a shout out to you're doing a 3-day class here in the next week or so, right?
Yes, next week there is a CE class that I'm doing for realtors, and it is to get your staging designation. It is from
Okay.
the International Associate. I always get this mixed up. International Association of Home Staging Professionals.
Awesome.
That's one of two associations for staging, and it is CE. So
Okay.
and it's a designation, so they will be able to learn all about staging. So it's actually 2 days for realtors. And then
Okay.
the third day is if they want to actually start a staging business. So they can do the third day if they want to do all the
Okay.
whole thing. So it's 2 days for realtors, and the third day is for them if they want to start like actually staging, which is
Awesome.
fun. It's fun.
Okay. Well, we will definitely post that in the chat as well. And then one more thing that I want to tell people about, there it is. It's already in the chat, people, so you can go on there and see if that's something that you have the time to do. I am sure you will not be disappointed. You are just going to get 2 days full of Nikki instead of 1 hour. The other thing is that you are hosting with our affiliate committee an amazing event at the end of February. Give us a little bit of a sneak peek of what that's about.
Oh my gosh, we have such amazing like top producers. We're going to do a industry market update, and it's oh gosh, what day is it?
February
February
28th. It's the
28th
28th. It's the 28th.
at Metrotex, and just trying to get everybody together and get them jump started on success strategy. So we have people speaking about social media. We have people, just really trying to get them geared up for the rest of the year, and
Yep.
and with some tools that they can use immediately, not when they go home, but they can start
Yeah.
using them right then. So we're very
Awesome.
excited about this. A couple of affiliate members, or we're trying to get everything together. It's just going to be very exciting.
Well, I will be there. I'm exciting that you are hosting an amazing event. We just posted the Eventbrite on that as well. So if people want to sign up, I know we're going to have a good number of seats there, but I'm sure space is still limited. So sign up for that now. That's the end of February. But Nikki, I just want to thank you. You are a busy lady that is always willing to give back to everyone. And you never have an ask. You're always willing to give back to the real estate industry, to your fans, to your friends, and of course to Metrotex. So we just appreciate you so dearly. So the things that I want to wrap up though, sign up for the leadership recruiting event.
Yes.
Okay. Both of us right here are testaments to what that class can do for you. Go ahead and figure out one of her next design trends class. Follow her on social media so you too can get the more in-depth version of what we just did in Real Talk. We've also got that 2-day CE designation for realtors. That's coming up next week. And then at the end of February, the phenomenal, I think it's like, what is it? Women, success in real estate. I mean, it's going to be an amazing panel with amazing energy at our beautiful new headquarters in Irving. So Nikki, if there's anything else you want to leave us with, a last tidbit, a trend, anything else, you already showed us the Costco door. You got anything else hidden we don't know about?
Let's see. I think that's all for now. They have to come to my next class and figure out what else I'm going to reveal. But there's so much going on in the design world. Things are changing every day. Things that I talked about a couple months ago are no longer a thing. So it's always changing, and a lot of fun. So stay
How
tuned.
exciting. Yes. Well, thank you, Nikki, for taking the evening to spit out your wisdom. We will see you very soon, not only virtually, but in person. Thank you guys for joining us this evening and all of your questions. And we will see you at the next